Hi everyone! Today we'll be making reusable fabric cup koozies. In your kit you would have received a glass cup wrapped in paper, 2 pieces of fabric, 1 piece of batting, a spool of thread, a cute button that I found off Amazon. It says handmade with love. Very cute. A needle threader, a needle, some cord, and some fabric clips. You would have also received double of fabric, buttons, and cord so that you can make a cup koozie for someone else as well. Let's get going. Alright guys, first things first, we're going to thread our needle. So, finding our thread on our spool can be tricky at times if the end is not poking out. You'll just rotate the bottom piece of the spool and you'll see that thread does start to pop out, so then you can easily slide it off the spool. Usually I like to use about an arm span of thread, but for this we're not going to need that much. So maybe keep it shorter. Just snipping it here. Then I'm going to grab my threader and needle, just going ahead and placing the eye, like the large loop of the needle threader, inside the eye of my needle. So doing this, your needle won't be able to slide off, it'll just hang out there, and then you can insert your thread into the large loop, which being the needle threader, probably about 3 to 4 inches. Then pull your needle off, making sure both sides go through. There you go. Then you have your 1 strand of thread on your needle. You can go ahead and even them out because we're going to make a knot at the bottom. I usually just hold one end a little tighter in between my 2 fingers and then let the other end just kind of flow. Then we're just going to wrap it around our finger, probably 3 or 4 times, rolling it off the finger, and then pulling tight completes the knot. Alright, so you're going to need your first piece of fabric. Some of you guys would have gotten fabric that had marks in it. They would have been the old pattern that was on there. When I was measuring the fabric the first round, I didn't measure with a 1/2 inch inseam, which then would have made everything super small. So I went ahead and added those just so I didn't waste. So they're going to be the back so that nobody sees them. So I'm going to go ahead too and take our quilt batting and place it roughly in the middle of the fabric. Make sure that you're facing the same way so they're both angled the same. And we're going to go ahead and actually sew the batting onto the piece of fabric. Super easy. We're just going to make like 2 little loops so that it won't go anywhere when you flip it inside out. It just makes it easier in the long run. So we'll go in one side here, go all the way through both, pulling so that the knot stops, and then back through the other side about 1/2 centimeter away, just going back through. I like to go in twice just to make sure that it's like extra secure, but you can do whatever you feel. When I go back through, I'm going to tie off my needle, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So tying off, we put our needle back through the stitch we just made. It's okay if you stitch through some of the batting because it's not going to poke through to the other side. So we're going through the stitch we just made, holding that loop there so that we don't lose it. Then we're going to go through the loop we made about 3-4 times, wrapping around the needle. Pull your needle through, and that will make you a knot. This way our thread is not going to go anywhere, and we're going to go ahead as well and do the exact same thing just on the other end. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and add our second piece of fabric, laying it underneath the first we made. Make sure that the nice sides are facing into each other. Then we're going to take our fabric clips and just clip them along the top and the bottom so that they don't really wiggle anywhere. Making sure it's nice and flat. Add your other clip. Alright, so now we are going to sew all the way around our two pieces. We're going to leave about 1 inch to 1.5 inch space where the one clip is, so that we can turn our project inside out when we're done. I am stitching along the kind of edge of the batting just to make sure that I stay in a straight line. It keeps my stitches more even, and then if there's too much of excess inseam, we can just trim it off later. It's no big deal. So just going around all the way around the project, leaving again 1 inch to 1.5 inches of room at the top. So now that we have our piece sewn all the way around, just going to go ahead and flip it inside out. Be gentle, but make sure that both the batting and fabric are getting flipped inside out. You might be able to use like a dull pencil to push it through if you need to, but you should be able to just kind of wiggle it around with your fingers. All right, so now that we have our piece inside out, we're going to go ahead and put our little clips so that we just kind of hold it together and you know where to sew. Going ahead with our threaded needle, we're just going to go in, making sure that we're actually placing our needle inside the work so that the knot at the end of our thread will be hidden because it will be inside. From here on, we're just going to go straight across with a little twist, and I'll get to that in just one second. I just want to get our stitches started. So we're going through both. There we go, just kind of back and forth, probably about 1/2 centimeter away just to get that work started. Now the twist. This is where the cord comes in. So what you're going to do is make a little loop and place it inside of the hole you have there. I left mine out quite a bit, but I ask that you guys place it in a little bit further. And then what I want you to do is just continue stitching over. So what this is going to do with a little bit of elbow grease, it's going to hold your cord in place so that eventually it can be securely sewed in there. We're just going kind of across the work here. If you feel like you're going to go through the cord, it's honestly probably better. This part of the work would be easier on a sewing machine, but anything we can do with a sewing machine, we can also hand sew. Just takes a little bit more time and maybe a little bit of elbow grease, but I promise it'll work. What I also want you to do when you're closing this over the cord, I want you to back stitch. So when you've sewn all the way to the end, I want you to turn around and do the same line over again, filling in the gaps that you didn't sew, just to make sure that it's super, super secure and not going anywhere. All right, so once we feel like our cord is tightly in there, if you had to go over it a third time, doesn't matter, it's okay. We're gonna go ahead and install our button. So we've threaded our needle, we have a knot on the end. Make sure that you're going into the back part of your cozy. So the knot will be seen on the back. Super important. Place your cute little button on there through one of the eyes. Then just holding it there would be a lot easier. You just go through the other eye of the button and pull right through. You're gonna go ahead and go over the button probably, I would say 5 to 7 times, just to make sure that it's really on there. It can be tricky to reach from the back, so just take your time, be patient. It'll get there. You can see me trying to find it through the back just because I couldn't see that well. Just going back and through. And if anyone has any questions about these buttons, they are from Amazon, so if you want to email or anything to find them, just let me know, and I can send you the link and stuff. They're super cute, they're wooden, and they are stamped with Handmade with Love, and I love them. I want to use them for future projects as well. We're just going through over and over again to make sure that it's secure. And then when you're finished, you're going to go ahead and finish the knot like we have the same before. So just placing it through some of the thread, creating a loop, and going through. All right, so once your button is sewn on, you are ready to go. For a smaller mug or cup, you just have to wrap your cord around twice. Just make sure it fits better. I think I managed to grab the smallest cup in my cupboard. It's a super, super cute gift for someone for the holidays. It's also great because it's washable if you spill any coffee on it. Adorable for everyone, keeps your drinks warm, your hands warm, all that. I hope you guys enjoyed. I loved making this one, and hopefully I will see you on the next one. Have a great day, guys.